Okay, everybody. So, welcome back. This is Ian from Mindful Marketplace. It is Christmas Eve. Actually, it's Christmas Day. So, for those of you who celebrate, Merry Christmas, and I hope your holiday has been great. I actually happen to be Jewish. I have extended family who celebrates both Hanukkah and Christmas. So, it's been a pretty hectic week for me, but at the same time, hopefully, I've recorded a lot of content for our course community. All right. So, I'm going to actually share a really simple, what I think is a really exciting way of creating little micro directories, niche communities that make it really easy to sell services into. So if you're targeting a particular niche or audience or vertical, or even you're building something that's more expansive, like let's say all the businesses in a local community, in a local city or town, there's no better way to sell services to people who you identify as your ideal audience than actually having a collection of content that is, well received by the public, that showcases their work. So I'm going to show you a couple different examples of how to do this. And then what I think actually may be one of the more exciting opportunities for people who want a non WordPress directory style approach. So a lot of people who are familiar with my recordings know that in the past, I've covered a lot of WordPress themes and plugins for building those sorts of sites. Here's something, I'm not going to cover this today, but this is actually a piece of software called Beacon that we're selling services to authors in 2023. So something like this is a collection of books in the sort of psychic medium, near death experience niche, something I'm agnostic about, but it's very popular with our audience. So collecting books and then recommending those books to our audience, and then reaching out to those authors and saying, hey, we have featured your book in January in our directory, is a great way of selling services to these sorts of folks. Now, again, within reason, someone like this dude who's like on TV and has like a whole PR team, et cetera, not someone that is likely to be responsive to a independent agency sort of offer. But, other people who are either just starting out as authors or who are in the kind of intermediate realm certainly are. I mean, in the mindfulness space, we've had a lot of success reaching out to people who are fairly well known and getting really good feedback as affiliates and promoting affiliate products and creating relationships with those people. So anyway, this is actually Beacon. I'm not going to cover this tool here because I've covered it elsewhere and because time is obviously of the essence. I'm going to give you two other recommendations, one of which I covered a couple days ago called Superstash, which I'm going to show you. Let's see if we can visit the site. This is a content curation software as a service platform that allows you to create these sort of collections of content, affiliate products, people, profiles, whatever it is that you're creating in the world, you can do with Superstash. This is just, I mean, I've only been using this now for about 4 days, and I'm just creating basically test content to show folks how this looks. But it's really, really appealing because not only is it, and I'll show you the back end, is it, and I've done a video on this already, both for our private community as well as one on YouTube. But it's really, really easy to add resources. It's pretty. It's much easier aesthetically on the eye than WordPress. It's a lot simpler, and it has a lot of, there's collections, resources. You can create unlimited amounts of, or unlimited mini sites or microsites using this platform, which means you can literally launch an entire directory authority site style business where you're building these things and selling them, where you're building them and selling services behind them, or whether you're just building them for your own kind of, asset base, your virtual asset base. I mean, you can switch domains. So here's, this is all one install. Here's, a mindfulness book, a directory that I just created. Here's the test one that you're looking at here. You can add new sites. I mean, all done through one back end, which is much, much more appealing than doing all of this through WordPress. All right, so I'm going to cover this more again in our uh, private community. So if you're interested in joining us, you can click on the link in the resource box below or in the description box, and you can learn more about that. But for those of you who just want to watch this in a kind of free way. So here is a brand new Ghost theme. Ghost is really a phenomenal platform for publishers. It has Stripe integrations. You can take payments right out of the box. I mean, there's members, there's memberships, there is a newsletter that's built into this. It's a joy to use. Like Ghost is really, really, a lot of fun to actually use as a publisher. But this is something that's never been done before on Ghost, which is the ability to create a directory of resources on Ghost using the built-in kind of tools that Ghost already provides, but this theme actually customizes it in such a way as to create this very, kind of directory style aesthetic. And I'm going to show this to you. I haven't bought this yet, but I'm going to. And I just kind of ran into this today, and I'm really excited about the potential of using something like this for the sort of site that I'm recommending you build if you want to sell services in a given niche. All right, so let's look really quickly. Here are all the different resources. This is the way this particular theme organizes all this on Ghost. So if you click over here, you can make changes to the aesthetic. You can change all of these really cool ways in which the resources are displayed. And some of this is really attractive to me. Like, I really like the way in which this is structured and organized. And again, if you click on analytics, that's you know, a particular resource that you can actually, click through and read. Now, I wouldn't have this much content about each individual resource. I would have much more minimalistic, kind of approach to the content itself. So you have a link to the external content, and you have a little description, and then you're basically just trying to, optimize for clicks. Whereas this is more optimizing for long read, which I'm not as much of a fan of. But let's look at the resources page. This is all of the resources, which is a custom, sort of tag or a custom template, I guess would be the appropriate description for this particular theme. All right, so you can't really do this as easily with other Ghost, themes and frameworks. All right, so if you go under automation, for an example, there are 3 resources: Clay, Make, and Zapier. These are obviously, automation software tools. If you, go under analytics, there are 4 resources. If you go under design, there are 3 resources. Well, imagine in your niche doing this. So let's say it was a local directory, again, with really great, the built-in search functionality that Ghost really does phenomenally well, with the easy publishing potential that Ghost offers. And it's much easier to use than WordPress. And if you can search on my channel for Ghost tutorials, because I've done a bunch of these in the past. But all of this is really, really easy to segment and to organize. And again, you can imagine if you're building a local community of, let's say, just going to show it to you this way. Let's say it's all the best, realtors in your city, right? And then here would be all of their, faces and organized in this way. It could be, commercial real estate, whatever. I mean, beach real estate, city real estate, or this could be financial advisors, pizza places, sushi restaurants, anything that you can imagine. And you could further, kind of illustrate this, graphically, or, the aesthetics of it are really nice. And then you have all these other sort of customization options. Like, I really like this. That actually hides you can change the branding color. I really like the list and the top view, right? So I think this is really, really nice and gives you the ability to, do some very, very cool things. So you look at search, for an example. So, I mean, lots of WordPress directory owners, if you ever built a WordPress theme, or if you've ever built, I've never built a WordPress theme. If you've built a directory or a listing site or a niche community on WordPress, one of the really big pains in the asses is the fact that search can be really mediocre. And folks who are on your site looking for a person, a profile, a product, etc., will often struggle to actually find the thing that they're searching for. Now, there are plugins that can enhance search, and there's lots of different ways to improve it. But Ghost does this so well. So if you search for, let's say, design, you'll see I just typed in DE, and you have tags, posts, etc., all coming up immediately in real time. So if I type in web, right, same thing, right? You have all of these instant search results, which is really, really appealing. Again, not only for your public audience, but for the professionals that you're going to be targeting, as a digital media brand, as an online agency, as someone who's selling services to these folks, right? So let's go back to the home. And again, you can imagine something like this, with just all of the professionals in your niche, your vertical, your industry being, displayed in this very, sort of elegant way. And then, of course, each author has a collection of their own, their own page with their resources listed, which makes it really easy to give your audience, your members, the ability to publish on your site as well, right? So in case I didn't say that clearly enough, you can actually reach out to the people that you're featuring on your Ghost community, on your directory, and give them the ability to add content to the site, right? So if it's the best realtors in, Cleveland, let's say, and you're featuring all these realtors right here, right? You can, and you're selling services to those realtors. You can actually say to the realtors who are your clients, this is another way in which to sell high-end services to people in an irresistible way. You could say, hey, look, you can log in as a recommended realtor in our community, and you can have your own author page. So you can publish all of your listings, new listings, things that are happening in your brand, in your business, in your life as a realtor, or as a therapist, or as a teacher, or as a, financial advisor, pizza restaurant, psychic medium, etc., right? And you can build tons and tons of these directories on Ghost in a pretty affordable way. There are ways in which you can, I mean, the primary expense in Ghost is the hosting. But if you're really interested in doing this in a serious way, there are Ghost hosts out there that I can refer you to that are far less expensive than the, Ghost Pro, which is how Ghost makes their money, by charging for hosting. But I pay a fraction for Ghost hosting because I, know folks who run Ghost hosting platforms. So you can literally build a number of these sorts of sites, sell services, build assets, and really do all this on a bootstrap budget. And by the way, if you really want to do this in an incredibly affordable way, this other platform, Superstash, which I really, really like, gives you unlimited amounts of resources, collections, and websites, all for like about $10 a month, which is absolutely insane. Like that's such an amazing deal. I mean, to picture building 50 WordPress sites, 50 WordPress directories, it's going to cost you a small fortune in hosting, and you have to manage them from all sorts of different places, or you need, fancy pants plugins to coordinate all that. This can all be done through within Superstash. So these two options, again, my preference for like high end publishers would be Ghost and using that particular theme that I just covered, which is already lost, I guess. No, it's right here. Here's the membership option. Again, this is all built into Ghost. Here's the sign up. It's all really well thought out. Really impressed with this. I mean, really beautifully done. And of course, you're going to be modifying all this for yourself. You're not going to be, it's not going to look like this. It's going to look like your own version of this that you design around your own niche, your own community, your own audience, etc. So again, such a fan of not only Ghost, which I've been for a long time, but for this particular way of turning Ghost into a complete solution for directories, resources, collections of content that are organized in this way that you can, sell memberships to, you can, sell services to your members, you can charge the public, et cetera, in a very systemized and streamlined way. All right. And, I'm going to be doing more recordings on Superstash as well. I really, really like this, especially if scale is your goal. If you want to build, you can build one directory with, let's say, 20 resources and one with 2,000, right? And you can do it all from the same space, the same back end, create great collections. I don't like the fact that some of this can't be super customized with respect to, colors and backgrounds, but I think that's coming. This is a brand new product. The guy who's developing this built the Chipmunk theme and framework, which is a very popular, content curation directory theme for WordPress. And I think this is super exciting and really well worth looking at. And there's also a free trial as well. So while I'll be doing both of these things in 2023, we're targeting authors and folks who are writing books, and we're writing books ourselves. So that's really my goal. It's less about directories, but selling services to folks is always really important. And being able to say to people, hey, look, we're featuring your book on a best of, collection. Therefore, here are some of the ways or the other ways that we can work together to ensure that your books, your brand, your, author / entrepreneurial endeavors are most fruitful in 2023 and beyond. All right. Those are my recommendations for those of you looking for a non-WordPress style, listing directory style setup. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. If you're in our course community, I'm going to be doing some more videos on this, not only towards the end of this week, but all through 2023 as well, as we build our own collection of these sorts of communities. Teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. Thank you, as always, so much for watching. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.